Hello and welcome to the channel. The AliExpress March sale, or so-called anniversary sale, this year kicks off on the 18th of March and carries on until the 27th, so in essence 10 days of very aggressive discounts across the board. So if you've been eyeing that special timepiece, this could be a great opportunity to buy it. AliExpress has 4 such big sales during the year, and I tend to produce at least one recommendation video for each. I try to keep the overlap between those videos to a minimum, so I highly recommend to go over my previous recommendations for more choice. If you watch my previous videos, you probably know the drill by now. The links to all the recommendations will be in the description. Also, most of the recommendations on today's list I have already reviewed on the channel, and so there will be links to those reviews as well for your convenience. And before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this video, a quick disclaimer: the recommendations are not sponsored, however, the links are affiliate links, which without costing you anything extra will generate a small commission for the channel on qualifying purchases, which of course helps me to run this studio, and your help is greatly appreciated. Okay, let's get into the list, and to mix things up a bit this time, in no particular order, here is my list of recommendations. Starting with the Sea-Gull 1963, this watch probably needs no introduction. It kinda became a horological classic and is appreciated by bargain hunters and by seasoned watch collectors alike. This particular listing has a ton of different configurations, all very competitively priced. Normally, this watch sells between $150 and $200 US, and if you go for Sea-Gull's own version, it will set you back close to $700. So this around $100 price tag is a really sharp deal here. In terms of which configuration to go for, well, my favorite is a sapphire glass 38mm version on the native style strap. I wouldn't bother with the stainless steel bracelet here because, judging by the bracelet end links, it is kind of off-the-shelf bracelet, which you can always get separately if you want to in the future. Also, do you really want to pay extra $20 for the gooseneck regulator? Just in case you're not familiar, the gooseneck is the blue device on top of the escapement wheel, which in theory allows for more precise tuning of accuracy of the movement. Well, in my personal opinion, I think it is here mostly for aesthetics, although it does make the movements look somewhat more interesting and complex when we look at it through the exhibition back case. I just recently posted a review of this watch for around $50. This is an absolute steal of a deal. Sized really well, with quite interesting design. Yes, design, because even though it does resemble Longines' Spirit chronograph, this is by far not a so-called homage. And apart from the quite interesting design, we of course get all the premium materials: sapphire crystal, Japanese Seiko VK63 mecha quartz movement, good finishing, and quite decent bracelet for the price. Now, just in case you were stuck on the moon during the last few weeks and missed this groundbreaking update from Omega, well, they released a white dial speedy. Now, this one is a bit tricky because Pagani Design released this homage last year, so now, in theory, we can speculate that Omega Design has decided to copy Pagani. No. Nope, just kidding. Anyway, if you like myself don't have $7,500 burning hole in your pocket, you can have a go at this homage from Pagani Design for considerably less. In terms of build quality and materials, Pagani Design surprised a lot of reviewers, including myself, with this model. I reviewed this red one, which is still my favorite and still in my collection. Will Omega copy it too this year? Well, we'll need to wait and see, I guess. And yes, the link to my review will be in the description of this video. Now, at the point of making this video, I still didn't have visibility of discounted prices for this timepiece, but if you want a dress watch that has something special about it, well, this Baltany 1921 has that something in spades. I really hope Baltany will include this timepiece on their anniversary sale discount list. Yes, it is a homage to a very popular and very expensive Vacheron Constantin timepiece. However, the execution from Baltany is just on another level here, with so many cool and subtle features. Like, for example, Baltany used a scratch-resistant coating on the case, which gives us an equivalent of Seiko diamond shield, or so-called die shield coating. The second hand is blued thermally and not by painting, which is more expensive and more complicated to do. The white at the first glance dial at the close inspection has an intricate starburst texture to it, and the list goes on. I go over all the details in my review, but if you already watched it and you are thinking of getting a premium looking dress watch, it is hard to go wrong with this Baltany. Okay, this one was a bit of a dark horse. When I first time saw the product pictures, I couldn't believe that such a level of case refinement is possible at such a ridiculously low price of under 50 bucks, or 46 to be more accurate. Well, I bought it, reviewed it, and yes, as crazy as it sounds, this watch has a full stainless steel construction. It also features sapphire crystal, very good build quality, or at least the example that I had for review, and judging by the number of views on that review video in the last few weeks, which was around 57,000 last time I checked it, I'm not the only one fascinated by this timepiece, and that's why this Pagani design is on this recommendation list. Okay, from memory, I already recommended this Sagus in the past. However, Sagus just keeps on pushing the price down, so I believe we are witnessing a new low, and possibly, fingers crossed, Sagus will keep the price this low or maybe even lower during the upcoming sale. This is of course a mechanical chronograph based on the iconic ST19 chronograph caliber. The Sagus knows a thing or two about how to make a good chronograph watch. I have a few, including this one based on a different movement, this time automatic mechanical one. Now back to this Sagus Chrono. Like most, if not all the watches on this list, we have all the premium materials here and solid build quality. Check my review for details if you're considering this watch. Looks like Cadisen pivoted into homages in the last year, and to be honest, they are doing really well. The quality is very decent, the materials are premium, and the prices, well, frankly, most of the time prices are ridiculously low, which means I bring it to your attention and include it in this list. At around 50 bucks, we get here sapphire crystal, Japanese Seiko NH35 automatic mechanical movement, full stainless steel construction, and very decent finishing and build quality. And of course, the 38mm size keeps the proportion of this cool diver in line with the current trends. I did a full review of this timepiece. The link, of course, will be in the description. Now, this one is kinda new on my list. It is of course not new on AliExpress, however, what is new about this watch, as you probably guessed it, it is the price. Looks like this one will be going for under $65, which is almost half of the price that it was introduced with. So it definitely lands on my to buy and review list. Watch the space, and yes, of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that upcoming review. Now, if you watch my review of this timepiece, you might be surprised that I'm including it in my recommendation list. Well, frankly speaking, there was nothing major wrong with this homage to Longines Spirit Zulu GMT based on a Seiko NH34 GMT caliber. If anything, I was impressed by very versatile proportions, clarity of the noticeably high-quality sapphire crystal, and solid bezel action like I don't recall seeing on any Pagani Design watches before. Of course, it is not perfect and there are some shortcomings, however, based on your comments, these shortcomings are not the main issue. The main issue was a very high introductory price of this watch of $200, which means that the proposed price closer to $150 might make this watch a much more attractive proposition, and yes, the links to the listings and the review will be in the description. Now, this chronograph probably needs no introduction, so I will go over it very quickly. The reason it caught my attention again is that the prices are still very low, and now pretty much all of the colorways are readily available. And it looks like this meteorite look dial with rose gold case could be on the way to my shopping basket. Now, this homage from San Martin is an amazing watch for an amazing price. Very versatile proportions, solid build quality and finishing, very potent lume, excellent bezel action, and of course all the premium materials. For around $150, great value in my opinion. Check my detailed review and comparison to its more expensive sibling from San Martin. Now, this cool watch is finally in my studio. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing it right now. And I did pay a normal price for it because I wanted to bring it in earlier. However, it looks like you should be able to get it for just a smidge under $75. And I think it is the lowest price for this watch that I've ever seen. The prices of Seiko Sumo keep on going up, and the price of this homage from Addiesdive keeps on coming down, so now I think it kinda crossed that threshold to justify the purchase. Also, there is a lot of interesting features on this watch, so this watch is on my recommendation list based on my very good experience with Addiesdive as a brand and on my initial impressions of this timepiece. However, if you want to wait for my review in coming hopefully days, then do so. Just make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you don't miss that upcoming review. If I had to describe a go anywhere, do anything best watch among recent releases on AliExpress, this would definitely be on top of that list. And I must confess, I really like the watch that it homages, and San Martin really went all out here. The proportions are very good, the bezel action is outstanding, the build and finishing are very, very good too. The bracelet is close to perfection if we are considering watches under $1,000. Really, it is that good. Do check my review for details. If you like San Martin and like their GMT watches but want something a bit more special, something that stands out with a bit of a finesse, well, this timepiece will most likely scratch that itch. 3 different gemstone dials. Dials, of course, have natural patterns and therefore are unique for each timepiece. There is, of course, some premium for this gemstone bonanza, however, it looks like San Martin offers this one under $290 during the special, which is a very sharp deal for a timepiece normally priced well above $300. Now, this San Martin GMT also needs very little, if any, introduction. Very well-crafted timepiece and now very affordable too. San Martin set the price to go down to $137. Looks like San Martin is trying to capitalize on the quality of their products, pricing it at the level of competition and giving them a run for their money. Of course, as a customers, we benefit in the process, which is great. After putting it off for some time for no particular reason, I finally reviewed this watch a few weeks ago, and I can tell you that this watch has the build quality and the lume that no watch at this price point should be allowed to have. Being a Seiko homage, it wears surprisingly compact despite its prominent proportions, and yes, we have all the top materials here: sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel with very decent bezel action, solid stainless steel construction and finishing, and, as I already mentioned, a very good lume. For $55, it hardly makes any sense, but hey, I am not going to argue with Addiesdive's prices here. Just grab it and go. And this is another really good-looking San Martin timepiece that I reviewed recently. And to be honest, this is one of the few watches in my collection that I'm happy to wear, even though it doesn't feature a date complication. The finishing is really good, the bracelet is excellent, and it features San Martin's only fly adjustment clasp. And it looks like we can get this timepiece comfortably under $200 during the upcoming anniversary sale. I also really like the proportions of this watch. I gave it a bit of a hard time during the review because of that extra ½ mm of case height, but it actually somehow works for this watch and definitely wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. Check out my review for more details. I featured this watch before, however, with a super aggressive discounted price of about $77, I decided to include it again. It is one of the probably most interesting field watches on AliExpress with robust masculine looks. It not only looks like a tank, it is actually built like one too, and yet it still retains that level of sophistication and uniqueness. I also like that BODERRY expanded the range of materials, now offering this cool watch not only in titanium but in bronze too. And now also with upgraded movement, powered by ubiquitous Seiko NH35 and offered in a bunch of different colorways, even with titanium bracelet, it is a brilliant timepiece which is still in my rotation and I can definitely recommend it. So if you found my list useful, please don't forget to like this video and of course don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Happy shopping, take care, and I will see you in the next one.